beach. The most savage beach and all.
That song was so somber, Griff. It's setting up a very somber, more serious tone to Andy Sedaris movie, I believe.
I mean, the version I had an opening thing with Andy Sedaris himself, and he's holding up a poster, and he's got a model with him, and of course it's a Playmate model.
Of course, yeah.
And so he's like, "This is the next gold mine for me, Andy Sedaris."
Did he talk like? I thought Andy Sedaris was American.
I'm doing an accent so people know I'm talking to someone else. Okay. And so he's the model just goes, "Gold mine." She's wearing like a gold sparkle dress, and she's like, "How about this gold?" And she starts grabbing her tits and just like bouncing them for the
It's all nothing but class from Andy Sedaris.
Nothing but class. Oh, that was my introduction to this fucking movie.
Yeah, Griff's not a fan. I mean, it's definitely my least favorite of the ones we've covered.
I mean,
but it had its moments.
I have fond memories of Picasso Trigger, and then when we were talking about Hard Ticket earlier today, I was like, there's so many fun things. Like they were goofy and it fit the mood. This movie tries to be James Bond.
I mean, there are goofy moments.
There's a couple, but
I thought we were definitely missing some Abilene because we know, for Hard Ticket we had Rowdy Abilene.
Yes.
Picasso, we had Travis Abilene.
Yes.
This one we get Shane Abilene.
I love how they did that, but
yes.
they don't use Shane.
They don't
like,
enough
at all.
And he had for my money, he had the best hair of any Abilene. He had this sweet fucking mullet. It was like a mane.
Oh man, you're into that mullet, huh?
Fuck, I wish I had that, man. And we didn't. For my money, we didn't get it. Because I mean, the whole point of having an Abilene is to bang Donna. I mean, she gets banged by an Abilene every episode, every movie.
And
that threw me off right there.
At the end, they are like together because everyone's got a girl at the end. There's so many girls in this movie where they were like, well, shit, we don't have enough guys to go with the girls, so one guy gets two girls at the end. But yeah, Donna's of course.
Well, Rocky and Patty are basically one girl.
Yes, they are one
girl.
mind.
I don't know, they're one girl, they're one mind. They're like a hive mind.
Everything they do together. It's true. Like that one scene when they're topless. They're both topless
they have
together.
To change, you know? They got a call from Shane. They got to get ready.
They're sleeping in the same bed, you know?
But I figured we owed it to do this movie. And first of all, we always fuck up when we don't watch the movie beforehand. Like when we're doing a movie we've never seen, and then we usually are like, oh, fuck, we shouldn't have done this movie.
Yeah.
But I think we owed it to Donna and Taryn to do the final conclusion. And Griff, the third movie is always usually the worst of the trilogy.
It's true.
So, this wasn't that great. I mean, we're going to make it great. Don't turn off the fucking podcast because we're going to make it great. But yeah, I agree. It was. I think we owed it to Donna and Taryn to finally finish because Taryn went on to greener pastures after this. Donna stuck around. She made a few more movies.
Right.
We'll get to those later.
How many more Sedaris movies are there?
He made like 12 or 13. There's like 12 in the pack I have.
What?
But
are they all? Do you know if they're all like in the island?
They're all in the islands. Yes.
Okay.
There's actually a sequel, Return to Savage.
I was going to
Island.
say there's Return to Savage Beach.
Beach, you're right. Island. So the minuses, we didn't get fucking of an Abilene, but we got a lot of LEONG.
This is the saving grace of this movie is LEONG, talking role, fucking killing it. I love LEONG.
Literally killing it in this movie.
I'm going to try to find some more LEONG movies because we need to have a feeture film with LEONG as like a main antagonist, protagonist, I don't care. We need 40 minutes.
His biggest ever role was Cage. I don't think he ever
I hope
got
not.
beyond that.
I hope not. I think there's plenty. The 90s has all these diamonds in the rough, and I'm pretty sure L is one of those diamonds. There's got to be something out there. So we're going to find it, but for now, I think we're ready for the trailer.
Well, before we get into, I want to say, Griff, Donna?
Yes.
Donna Spear, a.k.a. Donna Hamilton of the movie. Friend of the show now, Griff. She actually responded to a tweet I put out there about this episode.
Did you tweet her with your new account, Murray Abilene?
Yes. No, for the sake of this episode, we are Tim and Griff Abilene, so that's what we'll be referring to each other just for this episode.
Just for this episode.
But yeah, so she well, much like this movie, she left me hanging, Griff, because
no.
I put up a picture of her, of Taryn teaching her how to eat, because there's a scene where she teaches her how to eat a coconut.
Oh, that wasn't a coconut.
What was it? It was like she had like a mango.
It was some weird fruit, but it was neither a mango nor a coconut.
I thought it was, because I thought a coconut has that like shell over it, that kind of green thing over it.
Maybe. Yeah. You might be right.
So I'm pretty sure it was a coconut, and so I just put that because I got to hype the episode. I'm like, so I said, tune in because Taryn's going to teach you down how to eat a coconut. And she came back with, if you knew the real story behind that, it's hilarious.
What? You didn't even spill that much information with me.
I got to save it for the pod, buddy.
Oh, my God.
And I came back. I'm like, don't leave me hanging like that, girl. You got to tell me. I'm like, dish the fucking dirt. I want to know. Of course, she leaves me hanging. As of now, I haven't heard back from her. I'm assuming she's going to listen to this episode, and she's maybe going to judge us a little, and then if we're worthy. So I just want to get that out there. Donna Spear Hamilton, fan of our show, friend of the show.
Man, I hope she goes back and listens to Hard Tickets so, you can hear her read about her bio.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think she knows what turns her on and off. I remember specifically.
Well, maybe it'll be a good moment for her to reflect on where she was then.
I really have I want to know, because I remember one of her turn-ons was balconies. Remember that? I want to know what's going on with it.
There's a lot of balcony scenes in this movie where she's just on balconies, staring off, and she looks pretty pleased with herself.
Well, she has every right to be.
All right.
So let's get into the trailer. So, people, we made you hard for Hard Ticket to Hawaii. We triggered you for Picasso Trigger. Prepare to get straight savage. Ooh, yeah. Savage Beach, the final movie in the Donna Taryn saga. Right now.
This is Savage Beach. In Hard Ticket to Hawaii, undercover federal agents Donna Hamilton and Taryn Kendall save the country from drug smugglers. In Picasso Trigger, they save the world from the brutal hand of an international assassin. In Savage Beach, they are the targets for murder. This time, they'd better save themselves.
Good idea.
Crash land into the center of a search for a ton of gold. Where there's gold, there's greed, and murder rules the land. A paradise haunted by a mysterious presence. Take cover. This is no ordinary day in the sun. Terror reigns on the shores of Savage Beach.
Sorry about that trailer. I mean, the last minute is the typical where it's just Sedaris flashing tits and ass at you and just sound effects of punching. Was there a lot of action? I don't remember a lot of action. Most of it at LEONG's in, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, when there was action, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, we start out. I had Shokazuki flashbacks as we get this beautiful scene of a guy with a samurai sword doing his moves, like, silhouetted against a sunset.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful job.
Very
Sedaris.
Sin City, red and black, just lethal.
And I'm like, all right. I don't even think I think the awesome song we started out the show with doesn't even play in the beginning. I think it plays at the end, which was strange choice. And so we're like, okay. Samurai shit. I dig it.
Yeah, expecting that to play a bigger role than it did, but barely played a role.
It didn't.
Sedaris gets really, really... I mean, Picasso Trigger was convoluted. This movie takes that and runs with it.
Every Sedaris, we've learned this. Like, you think when you hear about Andy Sedaris, you go, oh, this is dumb tit movies. No, these are super convoluted, unnecessarily
Yeah.
convoluted plots. Like we got like almost 2 pages of notes for this fucking movie, and we're still kind of confused about it still.
Hey.
So bear with us. If you don't like it, well, you go watch the movie again.
I think confusion means that we have an attempt to understand it. I'm happy with it. And it's
well,
shit.
I'm not gonna. Well, hey, you guys fill in the blanks.
Here's where we join our heroes, Donna and Taryn.
Straight into action.
Yeah, straight into action.
Donna, Taryn,
driving through town.
They're like in a Jeep, I think.
They're in a Jeep, of course, because they've got it hanging out. Like they like to let it hang out.
They're all topless. They drive topless. They're
But
constantly topless.
they're minding the spacing because there's a couple girls ahead of them on like
Rocky
scooters.
And Patty. Of course, Patty. We remember. She's been in the other 2 movies. Rocky's a new addition to the.
I thought
the
they were
world.
evil. I didn't know
I
what
did
they were
too.
up to.
That's how the brilliance of Sedaris, man.
Exactly. Mind games.
Yeah, you're right. And so, because they're at the worst. We know everything bad happens.
Everything.
At the worst.
And they look like they were trying to get.
They're trying to
something.
seduce some guards.
Yeah. And of course, they're way into it. You got 80s Griff there, thick, bushy mustache. They're
Feathered
just
hair.
like, fuck.
And she's like, "Wow, no, your hair really looks like Don Johnson's hair." And he's like, "Really?" He's like, "No, it's not."
And they're like, we brought some Mai Tais with us.
Yeah, in a thermos.
A lot of emphasis on the Mai Tai. Yeah. So
they distract them and get them away. And so we're thinking, oh, shit, this is when the bad guys are going to show up. No, this is where the good guys show up.
I thought they were the bad guys. I thought they were
right.
going to poison the shit out of them.
So did I.
And that's when Donna and Taryn show up. I expected them to save them.
Yeah, they sneak in first, and there's a crate, and they open it up. There's pineapples in there. And the tops just come off.
They knock on them. They're hollow. Pull the top. It fucking just comes right off.
Donna does the whole move. Picks her pinky in it. Rubs her gums.
Dude.
China White, people.
China White.
This ain't Coke. This is heroin.
Yeah.
This is some real fucked up shit.
You ever try to cut a pineapple?
No.
It is fucking slippery as all hell. I cut my thumb out the first time I cut up a pineapple.
Don't even mess with the coconut.
So I would rather have a Coke-filled pineapple because then I wouldn't have to cut it. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't know either.
So
we're going to move on.
They need to figure out who's behind this Coke. Wait, H.
They got caught red-handed. They got what they need. So Donna makes a beeline for the manager or something's at his office.
Yeah.
And she walks in, cocky as all hell, playing her badge. She's like, badge and warrant, motherfucker.
That was pretty cool.
And then he's like, shotgun, bitch. And he whips
Yeah.
out a shotgun, and then all hell breaks loose. Gunfight. The OK warehouse.
Yeah. So this is where we see Patty and Rocky. Like, they've got the 2 guards,
They drugged them.
Those
guys are knocked out.
I thought there was like a tussle going on with them.
I'm making everything up. I don't even remember what happened.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, this movie's stupid. So yeah, what there ended up, I thought, being like. I remember there's an explosion.
Well,
they
there's a
blow up the
shootout,
Jeep,
and these guys get in a van and take off.
That's right.
And then, Donna's like, you let him get away? She's like, I'm not a dumb blonde.
Yeah.
And then she pushes like a detonator, and then the van explodes. But it's like a Wile E. Coyote type bomb, so they just have soot on their face. They're all right. They don't die.
I love it when he comes out. His perfect Don Johnson hair is just blown out, and he's got just like the little rings around his eyes remaining, and the rest is black. Oh, so good.
And so another bust.
So of course, after you have a big bust, from what we know in this movie,
have another big bust.
You have to unleash that bust.
And we
Get
do.
In that hot tub.
Correct. It's a Sedaris movie. You gotta have a hot tub scene.
I mean, Sedaris is just like pools are misused because they're cold. They need to be hot tubs.
Right.
So they get in this pool-sized hot tub, and they're just
it is a pretty big hot tub.
They're all just chilling, and you're like, "Where's Patty?" So Patty comes flying in, does a corkscrew off the diving board, and
Rocky does a fucking cannonball. It's
Jesus.
crazy. And they're just girls having a good time, topless with each other. I think Donna's totally naked.
Yeah.
And they're just having a good old time. And while they're having a good old time, we get to see our man Shane Abilene having his own good time in a pool, not a hot tub, getting ready to bone a chick.
Yep.
And he's like totally naked. I don't know.
They're boning in the pool. Well, they were making out, but
pretty
they were
boned.
naked.
They were getting ready to bone.
Yeah.
And he gets a call. And he goes in. It's a call from fucking Andy Sedaris. Because, as we know, Andy Sedaris is like Hitchcock. He always does a little cameo.
Funny you mention Hitchcock. I saw 2 of his movies this weekend.
Well, that's what they call Andy Sedaris, Hitchcock of tits.
Hitchcock of tits.
And that's why, and this Hitchcock. This is a true story. Hitchcock was such a huge influence on Andy Sedaris. That's why there's so many shower scenes because of Psycho.
Good call. God,
But
not
a shower scene in this movie.
Thank God for Golan-Globus Theater connecting all these dots for all of our loyal listeners out there.
And he's like, we just got a call from the Marshall Islands. There's a bad case of gonorrhea going on here. We need to get these kids are infested with it. I don't know what's going on. Why these kids have gonorrhea, but they do. We need a case of Genesis 5, which sounds like something from Star Trek.
It really does.
And we need it delivered now. Whoever you're fucking, drop her. Get out here, Shane. We need you. Call up Donna. Call up Taryn. Get this done. Because as we know, people, not only are Donna and Taryn drug enforcement, I don't know what they're like. Who
CIA.
they work for? CIA.
I'm pretty sure that's what it says. Even in the trailer, I think that's what it says. CIA agent Donna Troy.
I think they're Well, Donna Troy is Wonder Girl. She's Donna Hamilton.
Oh, got it. Yeah, right.
And I don't know because I think they're DEA. I thought she said she was a DEA guy when she busted in with a warrant.
I think it's CIA, but who the fuck cares?
But they're also cargo. Their cover, I'm guessing, is their cover, or maybe they need to make extra money.
They all have a cover.
Their cargo.
Because Rocky complains about her cover being the restaurant.
Yeah,
owner.
she replaced Edie. Edie used to be the restaurant.
Ah,
person.
that's right.
And I guess Edie was busy this filming.
Or they just want to rotate in some new talent.
Yeah, maybe some auditions happen.
Maybe some talent for a certain villain named Paul. She does wear a flowered dress. And
that's what that Paul. I had no idea in the nose what the fuck Paul was.
Yeah,
okay.
I knew you wouldn't. I knew this was going to come up.
I was like, because there's so many characters. I'm like, was there a Paul that I'm not thinking?
Yeah,
of?
He pulled his. Sedaris pulled the G.R.R. Martin on us, and he was just like character. What use do they have?
And they just disappear for no reason too. I mean,
yeah, there's like 15 military people we're introduced to. We know their rankings, and then he's like, all right, and they're gone.
So you're thinking Shane and the girls are going to hook up and they're going to go to Marshall Islands. No, Shane's just there for some reason. Like, okay, the job is just to go to the Marshall Islands, which is like 1,000 miles away from Molokai, to like deliver some medicine. And he's like, I have a package for you.
Yeah,
and like Griff, bear with me, okay?
I'll try.
I think there's more going on to this little tete-a-tete between Donna and Shane than just weapons. I think it's subtle, but I think there's a little bit of like some sexual innuendo going on in this conversation.
A little bit. I mean, when they're talking about guns being large, and she starts fondling a gun barrel in a gestured way, like, you think that was?
It was. I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy. I think it's sex. I think there's layers to what they're saying. I think it's just about guns. I'm not saying. I might be wrong. This might just be a scene just about straight out of Wikipedia for guns. Like would love to have. Where they're just talking about guns, but I don't know. I get some sexual tension between these two.
You get sexual tension on this?
Yes. I might be wrong.
It was weird that the song I'm Coming For You was playing in the background.
I noticed that. That was a strange move.
And then when they pull out that explosive dart and she says once it sticks in, it's got 3 seconds before it explodes.
Is that sexual?
I didn't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's just us. Maybe we got tits on the brain from watching.
Well, Sedaris, maybe that's what Sedaris is playing on. He knows everybody is coming in this movie all hot and heavy because, oh boy, there's a lot of tits. There's at least 2 tits per minute. It's like BIM counter, man. 2 tits per minute.
Okay.
Tim counter.
So we get that whole why they need weapons to give medicine to kids. We'll never know because it's never it doesn't make any sense. But they're like, fine, you never know. They're like the Boy Scouts. You never know. You might need an exploding tipped crossbow.
Yeah, I mean, there's kids there with what did we say they have?
Gonorrhea.
There's kids there with gonorrhea. They could attack them. You might need to shoot and explode them all. So, you got to be prepared.
And they are prepared.
The only other thing Abilene tells them is there is a storm coming.
Right.
So Donna's like, oh, no big deal. We just got to get in and out in 4 minutes.
They got like a 5-hour window.
Yeah. There's that shot of her studying the maps, and it's like her squatting over with her legs like spread open, and the camera just like pointed right into her crotch.
Yeah.
It's a good shot. That's all I'm trying to
good.
say.
Tasteful.
I really could understand that she was charting the flight path.
Yeah, she's an expert. We see her later on. She's using like one of those. I don't know what the fucking tools are, but you judge by the stars to find out. She knows she's a navigator.
Very talented navigator.
And so, guys, this is where it gets. This scene is where it gets super complicated.
Yeah, I mean, so far all we've had is tips and fucking, and now we got to worry about other shit.
Right. This is the meat of the story. The whole plot. It's about gold, stolen gold. We come in. We got our man, Captain Andreas, who I think was Picasso Trigger from the last movie. He looked familiar.
He might have been.
And he's a Navy guy, and he's talking to this guy named Martinez, who's a representative from the Philippines.
Yes.
And they're working hand in hand because what happened was the Japanese army in World War II had looted the Philippines of their gold, and they were going to use it to like build up their military. And what happened was the gold was on a boat, and it sank in a storm. So the Philippines are trying to get this back.
Yeah.
And Andreas is kind of pissed off because he's like, you fucking bleeding heart liberals. I had to turn off because in this world, the Star Wars initiative that Ronald Reagan had suggested, like it actually happened. We don't have a fucking nuclear like satellite thing that stops nuclear bombs. But in this world, it did happen.
Interesting.
And he's like, we had to shut it down for an hour so we could use the satellites to find where this gold is, and I'm fucking pissed off.
That's okay. And so they're like trying to gather data because they're trying to narrow down. They're like,
yeah, it's in the Pacific Ocean. It's a pretty big ocean.
Yeah, there's like 200 shipwrecks that they need to investigate. He's like, well, let's narrow it down to just the small ones, and that's where they get like 100 results.
Right, some guys goes on this old ass fucking computer.
Oh yeah, it's the PC expert guy. He looks like what's his name from Falling Down.
Well, of course he's an expert. He's got a British accent. They're always experts.
Oh, he did have an accent, and of course he was wearing a very nice tweed suit.
Right, and with elbow patches.
Of course.
And while that's going on, we cut away to, and this is another thing. I thought this guy was a bad guy. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Because he was a bad guy in the last movie. He was a guy who I thought was Shades in the last movie, but he wasn't.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He was the guy who rode the motorcycle, and Donna was chasing him or something.
Of course he was.
And so he's got a motorcycle in this one. So I'm like, this guy's a fucking bad guy.
It's got to be.
And he
knocked over a guy who was riding a skateboard on his hands
with a fucking blow up doll.
With a blow up doll.
And so he spots his car and starts chasing it. And then the driver of the car, because there's like a military guy in the back seat, and the driver starts lowering the back window.
It's like an Oldsmobile. They just write in stickers, U.S. Army.
Right.
Sir, why won't you let me roll down my, or why won't you let me roll up my window?
Yeah. He's like, I don't know. We need some air, sir. I'm feeling sick. And while that's going on, our motorcycle guy rides up and just shoots the guy in the neck with a dart.
Yeah, I just started calling him Ninja because he rides a ninja motorcycle.
He does. And they say stop it. And so you see that the guy driving is in cahoots with the motorcycle guy.
Ah, Ninja.
And they strip the guy, and the motorcycle guy puts his uniform, so you're like, oh, this is some bad guy. He's going to try to like steal this info.
Yeah.
Because he's going to pose as this guy who works for the army. That's his thing. But it's not to be, because what happens is...
we see like the meeting between General... what's his name?
Andreas.
Admiral
Andreas.
Admiral.
He's a Navy guy.
Admiral Andreas. Him and the PC expert, they've got all the info they needed. He's like, okay, just go ahead and take the disc. And he's like, oh, of course. He slides it behind a folder and hands him. He pulls the old sleight of hand on him.
Switcheroo.
It's the fucking
I want to point out it's a floppy disk, by the way.
Yeah, it's a 3.5 floppy disk.
It's 1990.
I mean, he pulls the old trick where he's like, hey, what's that over there? Puts in his pocket, hands him a new disc. He's just like, yep, all your information's right there,
Now,
man.
if that's not convoluted enough, next we see these Japanese guys who are trying to help. They're trying to atone for what happened in the war, so they're trying to help the Philippines get this gold.
Yeah.
So they're talking to this general who was there when the gold was stolen and knew what boat was used, and he's on his deathbed. And he wants to atone because he lives by the samurai code.
Yeah, he does say that 15 times. I am Bushido. I live by the code.
And they're like, okay, just tell us where the fucking boat is. And he's like, no, I need to do a flashback first. So we get this flashback. And we see this general, and he's like, I was under the impression that this gold was used for the motherland, I don't know, Japan, but I had some ill feelings. I think the general really was going to use it for himself. And I've been holding this for years, and now I have to just get it off my chest. And he gives this like a pretty good location. He's like where they took off, so it can like narrow it down even
exactly.
more.
They have even more info to go on because they can say, oh, this is how speed. They can do all the geometry.
Geometry is the proper pronunciation.
Geometry. Thank you. They do all the geometry, and you got one guy. He's got that fucking. I can't even think of his hair from Full House. He's got that hair.
John Stamos.
John Stamos
Shane
hair.
had a kind of a sweet John Stamos mullet too.
Yeah, and then the guy just chipping away at the old computer, just working his fingers to the bone, and they're like, "We got it." So they're like, "We gotta fly out there, and we're gonna join them in a minute." But of course now, I have to join Donna and Tara because they've been up to something.
Well, they finally make it to the island. They get just in time. The storm is rocking and rolling. They land. It's like a perfectly blue sky, but there's like rain falling.
Yeah,
down.
I mean, they land and they like immediately give them the medicine, and they're like, "Man, it's really getting choppy out there. We better hurry up."
Taryn's like gassing it up,
Yeah.
And Donna's like, here's your fucking penicillin for your disease-ridden children.
Yeah.
And they're like, Thank you.
Should we wait for the storm to go over? We could probably hang out with these gonorrhea kids. No.
Donna's like, look, I've been flying for years. I know what I'm doing.
I got to get back to that Abilene and show him what's what.
He's keeping it on ice.
He's keeping it on ice for me.
And so then we cut back to the PC expert. He's out in the desert. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He's meeting up. He's standing out in the desert. I don't think he had a car. I think he just walked out to the desert.
He walked out to the desert, man.
And Martinez shows up, the guy from the Philippines, representative from the Philippines. And he's just like, did you get my floppy disk? Right here.
Pulls it out from behind his ear. He's working hard on his magic act.
Touch.
I just watched the whole documentary about the Amazing Jonathan.
I've heard about that.
Dude, it's good.
And he's like, here's your money. And we're like, uh-oh, something's up. This guy's, he's not working for the Philippines. He wants this gold for himself. What a piece of shit.
I thought he was doing it for his country, man. I don't
know. He was there for something. Well, that's the thing. Every ulterior motives. Every time you think you know somebody, Andy Sedaris pulls the rug out from under you. And
Well, that's because the next scene, we see Martinez, and he's in some sleazy hotel.
Well, wait. You can jump ahead. Before he leaves, he's like, here's your money. And then he takes off, and then the guy opens his Kinjitashi case, and it's a bomb, and it blows up our computer expert.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, that guy's a bad person. There's no way that guy's working for the Philippines.
So let's go from one explosion to another.
Hell yeah.
Champagne bottle popping open. Little flow over there.
They're at the best Red Roof Inn in Molokai.
Best Red Roof Inn money can buy.
And, man, Martinez meets up with his broad, Angelica.
With a J.
With a J. And, of course, played by, I'm going to say her name's Terry Weigel. I don't know the pronunciation. Miss April, 1986. Her turn-ons are thinking of different ways to be sexy, house cleaning, and good, arousing movies. Her turn-offs, of course, are fake, phony people, criticism or critical people, and people who say they can't.
Criticism? She doesn't like criticism?
No. And so she
barely acts at all.
Well, she's just there to have sex. And
she's not just there to have sex. She's there to tell him how great of a general he is.
Well, what we learn is this guy, he's not working for the Philippines government. He is a revolutionary like Che Guevara. And he wants this gold so he can free his country, because this is back when Ferdinand Marcos was running the Philippines, and it was a dictatorship. So he's kind of a good guy.
Yeah, I thought his intentions were pure.
I don't know why he had to kill the computer guy, but
I didn't get that either. But Sedaris, there's going to be random tits and random deaths,
and we got an explosion and a tit showing every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
well, Murray, it's been way too long, and I'm jonesing for some tits. So,
well, Angelica will deliver because she's like, communism makes me so horny.
He tells
that's another one of her turn-ons is communism.
Yeah.
I left that out.
Yeah, you left that one out. Don't leave that one out because she is just like, I love the way you talk about our country, and she's pretending to be Filipino, I guess, or was she Filipino? I don't think she was.
I know she was. She's a white woman.
So
I also want to point out that
oh my goodness, so much pointing.
Apparently, Terry, the real life woman, played Angelica. She also had a career in hardcore porn. So if you ever want to check that out, people, if you like what you see in this movie, you can get a lot more in hardcore porn
on VHS.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Paul,
I'm not making any judgments. Do what you want with that information.
So she tells fucking Martinez, lay down on the bed. I'm going to take the D for the country.
And the D she does take.
We get some tits. We get it all.
We're not talking democracy.
We're not talking democracy for sure.
What's up with Donna and Taryn?
They're going through that storm, man. You see the storm they're in their plane. You see the storm out there. They're all wet.
They're basically in a plane on the ground, and Andy Sedaris is shaking it.
Andy himself.
And he's just spraying a hose at the windshield.
Look more troubled. You hear him directing them.
And like Donna's like, man, I'm feeling kind of chafed with this wet shirt. I know we're in the middle of a storm, but I gotta remove my shirt.
The trailer I have that all we heard was the audio for because it's a podcast. They put that scene in there.
Well, yeah.
There's
so the girls they do a quick little change of their outfits. You know, it's necessary. They're chafing. They're barely, I mean, Griff, they're barely keeping this plane up. You can't and you get
you don't want to be wet. You got to be able to concentrate on just
sometimes
flying.
your shirt will like stick to you, and you're like, you got to be loose.
Your sleeveless vest. You mean?
Yes, your sleeveless vest.
That's very restricting, so your tits are held up.
And I guess lightning hit the plane, so the radio's out.
Yeah,
they're on their own.
No, it disrupts the radio. There's too much electricity in here.
Sure, I don't even care.
So let's get into Act 2 now. We've got kind of all of our parties. We know everything that's going to come into the movie, or do we? So we're going to start Act 2 here, and Angelica has also landed down in Malachi? Or is this...
I have no
let's call
idea.
it Malachi.
It's somewhere in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It might be Honolulu, but let's say Molokai. And this is where he throws another banana peel in front of us because she spots our man LEONG shows up with his buddy Eric. He's a henchman, and this is his henchman.
She spots the two Japanese dudes who...
You're absolutely right. She spots it because I totally forgot about these guys. She spots... I'm sorry, that's not a racist thing. I didn't say they look the same because nobody looks like LEONG.
Nobody... Gotta love LEONG.
But you're right. She spots those two Japanese from the earlier that were talking with the general.
Who have what I thought during my watching of the movie had the absolute correct location. I thought the Americans and Martinez had bogus information. I thought these two Japanese guys had the correct information. So I
think you're right. I think that's what they do.
Yeah. She racial profiles the fuck out of them. Was like, gets in a cab and is like, follow those two.
And what was you wrote him down as bargain basement Lou Ferrigno? Was he?
No,
was he the guy?
That's later on.
Okay, because I thought
on the island.
I was wondering because she does pull over a taxi, and I was like, that's kind of weird that the taxi driver is Lou Ferrigno. But I guess he was a different guy.
I didn't notice the guy.
I just recognized a mustache. I saw a mustache.
It could have been that guy. But I don't think it was. I didn't bother watching this movie a second time because I didn't have the fucking patience for it.
So they stop at the second best Red Roof Inn in Molokai.
Yes.
And they're like...
She does tell the guy, like, hey, remember this place.
Right.
So maybe it was budget for Rigno.
So the Japanese guys, he's Ubering on the side as he's working for the communists.
Yeah.
And so they go to their room. They're like, "Oh man, it was a long day questioning that dying guy."
Yeah.
And they get a knock on the door, and it's LEONG and his buddy Eric, his hench to the hench.
And as experts of LEONG, we're both wringing our hands at this. I was wringing my hands. I'm sure you were as well.
And he's always. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
And LEONG goes, "Gentlemen, compliments of the hotel."
I'm gonna get a picture of the. I'll give you the picture too. Get it out there for all the social medias, but this is the greatest fucking treat a hotel could give you, and this actually fits right in with the Red Roof Inn, the second best Red Roof Inn treatment.
Right, it's classy as fuck, people. It's a fruit platter. One side's fruit, pineapple, probably some.
There might be some fresh heroin in there.
Fresh little heroin in there. And then, a 6-pack of Bud.
On ice.
And it's splayed out, too. It's not even just there.
They took the ring off. They cut it so turtles don't get caught in it. But, yeah, they fucking, yeah. It's beautiful spread.
And they're mesmerized for a second. She's like, oh, man, I've heard about this Budweiser that Americans drink.
Yeah.
And while they're distracted, LEONG just fucking roundhouse kicks everybody.
Does the Budweiser have a kick to it? No, but I got a punch for you. Wha! And yeah, the roundhouse that LEONG... Nothing made me harder in this movie than LEONG's roundhouse in that scene.
Sorry. Donna, if you're listening, I'm sorry he said that. Yeah, and there was this. It was roundhouse after roundhouse. Everybody was doing round. It was like a fucking like rodeo, like not rodeo, but like
a roadhouseo.
No, what's
roundhouse?
What do you call the thing where hillbillies dance? What's that called?
Hoedown.
Hoedown. It was like a bro down.
I'm so glad I came up with that. I've been so bad on words today.
Square dancing. It was kind of like
Square
that, but with roundhouses.
Yeah,
everybody's do-si-doing the fuck out of each other. And of course, it's LEONG. He's the victor. And we know because one of the guys has a little droplet of blood on the side of his mouth. Just a little. So we know he's probably dead.
They throw him in like a towel cart. They drape a sheet over him. It's a fine sheet.
And they steal his clothes because this is a running theme. And we had Bruce earlier steal some clothes.
Yeah.
And now
everybody always fits into the person's clothes.
Yeah, of course.
And they need to take, because these guys have credentials. They have security credentials.
Right.
What was the security credentials?
Because they were going to meet up.
They were going to meet up with the military.
Yes.
Yeah. This movie's making sense. It makes sense when you talk about it. So they need to get that information. And so, yeah, they put a little sticker of their own faces on it. They wave like a little, I don't know.
It's like a UV light or something. And like, these are perfect, Eric.
You hear the beep, beep, beep. And they're like, perfect.
It sounds like somebody signing on to the internet in 1999.
The dial-a-tone.
And like, Eric, you did it again.
I think they have a computer there that they load up because they do they? Oh yeah, no, they deliver the disc to Martinez here.
Yeah, so they while that's going on, Donna and Taryn. What's up with them? They finally land. They find a remote island. They have to land because they're about to crash, and they land on this remote island. And so, look, they're safe, guys.
Yeah.
So now we go back to Al and Eric finally show up with Martinez and Admiral Andreas, and they're like, "Here's the disc." I thought the whole idea was, but then again, I don't know. I'm confused again.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to give him a fake disc, but do they give him the real disc?
They give him see, again, this is why I'm so confused, because they're like, make a copy of this, make a copy of that, delete this, delete that. They're talking about so much science shit, but none of them seem to understand how science works or how computers work. So I think they're just handing the normal disc because they all, spoiler alert, end up in the same location. So no misinformation happens here. Everybody is given the same chance and information.
Yeah, so we get
when they all land in the same spot, they're like, "What are you doing here? You didn't fucking do anything."
They finally zero in on the exact island this gold could be on.
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's Savage Beach.
Well, no. This Captain Andreas drops this great line to just pull it all together. I've been no one's ever been on that Savage Beach.
Yes,
because what we learn is there's a lot of storms and shit. It's like fucking Monster Island, people, where Godzilla lives. It's just storms and shit around. It's hard to find. It's like in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, and that's weird because it's in the Pacific. And they're like, this is it. So everyone, and like, Al's like, well, good luck on that, sir. Wink.
Wink.
And then he leaves.
That's when we join Taryn and Donna again.
They're okay.
They happen to crash land on some island. I wonder what it could be.
I don't know, but it looks pretty savage.
It looks pretty savage.
And Griff, I don't know about you, but I'd be pissing my pants if I landed on an island in the middle of the Pacific. Nobody knows where I'm at, and they're pretty chipper about it. They're like, "Hey, let's work on our tans."
They live amongst islands. They're cool. They've been in situations. They work for the CIA, maybe the DA. They work for all of them. They've been in so many situations, dude. They don't care.
But Taryn does have this eerie premonition. She's just like, I don't know. Ooh, I gotta chill. There's something weird about this.
Well, they're
island.
walking in the background, and we've got this foreground shot of a man hiding under a pineapple tree. Pineapple? Fuck, come on. Coconut tree. And you
Palm
just
tree,
see
yeah.
his silhouette in the foreground. I was like, what?
We get that Asian flute.
Oh, man. I left my flute all the way over there. Otherwise, I would hum that out for us.
And we see a guy with the absolute worst old age makeup I've ever seen in my fucking life. It looked like they just covered his face with Elmer's glue and said, "Crinkle your face up." And he crinkled it a little, and they made wrinkles. It was awful.
So we need to get everybody to this island now. So we're going to see how, Al and Eric, Al Leong and Eric, his little compatriot there, his little buddy, his henchman. He's got the nice little bowl cut going on.
Yeah. And so, while they're going on, they're getting ready to go on a boat.
Yes.
Al. And
they're like, call up the crew. Get the leathers on. They look like they were, like, Angela, when she shows up to the island, she's got, like, that leather on with the, like, weird gems hanging off of her.
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
And Andreas and Bruce, the guy who's pretending to be the army guy, he's working on a plane, shirtless, of course. That's what you do when you're working on a plane.
Absolutely.
And
he's got a real face quality to him. From
A-Team?
A-Team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, he's charming as all hell. He's charming everybody.
He's charming as all hell. He is a jack of all trades. And, yeah, he's face.
He's the A-Team altogether. Because, like, B.A. was the guy who was, like, the mechanic who could fix everything.
It's B.A.
And he loves it when a plane comes together.
Yeah, B.A. wouldn't fix a plane, though, because he hates planes.
Well, he hates planes, but he still fixes
But the other guy.
As long as he's not
crazy
in it, Murdoch.
Murdoch, yeah. Murdoch would do it.
And Andrea's like, I hope you can get that tub in the air. He's like, hey, I'm a pro. I used to be on the A-Team. I know what I'm doing.
It is a stealth plane, by the way, guys. And by that, they mean they scratched the registration off of it.
Right.
That's all they did.
And Donna pointed that out, actually, later on.
I know. That's the only reason why I knew it was stealth.
And, well, they had some sea spray on the bottom, which proved that they were like
Flying
below
low.
radar. Yeah.
The exposition that Andy throws in here, pay very close attention to.
It's like a fucking aquatic like plane that can land in the water, yet they notice some obvious, like, no, that sea spray's different. That's from when you're in the air.
It's so... Andy, come on, man. We don't expect much out of you. Don't explain these things to us. We're accepting them. Yeah. Just make the plane look a little weird.
We don't watch these for the plots, okay?
Exactly.
And so stop making them so convoluted, Andy.
Stop. So we want a skateboard guy.
Yes, we do. We want somebody in drag shooting somebody. And so Martinez, he's ready to go, and he's like, I got to have one more bone session with Angelica before I leave. And so he's like, I can't even wait to get to the Best Western, the Red Roof Inn, whatever they're at. We got a bone in the car. And this is where maybe what happened was Lou Ferrigno, bargain budget Lou Ferrigno, was just a taxi driver. And they're like, hey, you want to become a mercenary? And she's like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. So he was like, was their driver? And he's like, well, here's a gun. Because he's driving, and he's, you got somebody fucking in the back seat. You got to peek a look every once in a while. So he's like peeking in the rear view, and she's like what you see? He's like, oh yeah, and that's pretty much the last we'll see of Angelica.
I see a scene you added in here. I didn't bother to add this scene in here because I didn't want to have to jump back and forth. But yeah,
well, we have to.
Donna and Taryn obviously are missing. Shane sent them out there, and he's like, man, I'm really starting to get worried about them. But don't worry, Patty and Rocky get woken up by a call.
They're sleeping poolside,
naked, topless. Topless.
Yeah. And he's like, we got to get the team together. And they're like, all right, first we got to change. So we get another, because it's been about 15 minutes.
We just got to get some tit. I mean, we just saw people fucking in a car.
It's like tit on tit on tit, because we just left out Donna, and they said they make their little like lean-to with the palm leaves, and they're like, "Whew, it's get."
Oh, that's right. And then they go into the Sunset Beach.
They're like, that's what I'm saying. Like Griff, if I'm on a deserted island, nobody knows where I'm at. I'm gonna be freaking the fuck out. They're like, no, we're gonna skinny dip.
Yeah.
So they do a beautifully shot, by the way. Nice sun's going down. So
I mean, what is it called? The golden light or something in the morning. Well, this is like the perfect nightlife. Or nightlight?
And they're just frolicking naked. It's great. It's beautiful. And so it's like man, he just ODs. He hammers us with tits because we're not gonna have tits for a while. I think this is it for the rest of the movie.
He's suffocating us with tits.
And so we also get a scene. I put it up on our Twitter where they're this mysterious fruit called the coconut.
I've never heard of it.
And they've never, obviously, either, because Taryn's like, no, it's good. Here, try it. And she feeds Donna a little bit of it.
And I will be honest, when we were talking about this moment, I was like, what? No, that wasn't a coconut. Because I forget, like, I assume, like all dumb Americans, that coconuts just grow, the fuzzy brown thing you buy at the store.
Like, technically, I guess, would be the seed, the coconut?
I guess so. But of course they grow in like a larger green husk kind of thing.
Right.
And so
I've seen a lot of episodes of Survivor, so I kind of know that.
What really confused me is that Taryn is eating out of like the husk. So you see her like digging into that.
Yeah.
And not the coconut that's inside of it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was one of those weird fruits that I've heard about where it's like supposed to be like really good, but the smell of it is completely like infuriating.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
And while they get there's like, well, hey, let's go to sleep. It's getting late. And they get up and they notice some footsteps. I love how like these footprints are right on the beach. Like they didn't get washed away immediately. Like they just get washed away as they notice them.
Yeah.
And they're like, Taryn, we're not alone. Get Shane's package.
Well, no, it's fucking. Like, they're getting ready to go to bed, and she's... Or, no, it was, like, in the morning. She's like, I'm getting a little cold. Why don't you go get the blanket?
Oh, you're right.
She sends her... like, they know... They've seen these footsteps, and she's like, you know what? I know we're suspecting someone's on this island. Why don't you go by yourself to the plane on the other side of the island and get me that blanket? Wear this red shirt while you do it.
And Taryn does that because she's a great friend.
Yeah.
And she immediately gets attacked by GI. I call him GI Samurai. And she gets away, right? Because Donna, to the rescue, right? And
when she shrieks out, Donna comes to the rescue.
She's like, "Fuck this shit," and she's like, "Taryn, get Shane's package. We got shit to do." So we get that great loading up fucking scene we need to see in every action movie.
Yep.
Terrence putting her crossbow together.
She's fucking Donna grabs what do we call them? AR-15.
I don't know. It was a machine gun. That's all.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, they're ready to kick some ass. But they're a little on edge because
a little bit.
There's a guy with a sword out there.
It's true.
And so they hear some noise.
It's just in the grassy fields beyond.
And they just It's like the fucking scene in Predator where they just unload and just destroy the whole jungle. And then they like, let me go check. And then Donna pops up with like...
This was good. I liked this part.
Well, like Taryn has like a leg, and then Donna has like a rooster head. It's like,
yeah.
Hey.
The only part I didn't like about it is that looked real as shit.
Probably was.
I'm pretty sure they just fucking exploded the chicken.
Well, then I don't think they exploded. They probably like just butchered a chicken, probably ate it for dinner. And I guess we won't be getting woken up in the morning. See, it's a rooster, and roosters, cock-a-doodle-doo and all that shit.
I mean, it was a chicken, but yeah.
And no, it was a rooster. And fuck. Where are we at, Griff?
Well, the girls have decided that they're sick of this fucking stranger on the island, so they're like, you know what? Let's not have any more of this. They over a nice rooster dinner, chicken dinner. Pretty sure it was chicken. They are like, let's go out. Man, just get your drink everywhere here. They're like,
Griff is really prickly today. He didn't like this movie.
Yeah, I fucking hated it.
Chill the fuck out, Griff.
They're like, let's go out and find these fuckers. We're CIA/DEA/Playmates.
The best defense is a good offense.
Exactly. I mean, they have fucking high-powered rifles, crossbows, pistols. So they're like, let's put on our camo and let's get out there.
So they spend there's like a 5-minute scene of them just putting on camouflage paint on their face. And the very next scene, it's like gone.
It's just gone.
And okay, or whatever. Why did we need 5 minutes of something but whatever, we're going with it. Because we want to get through this movie. So they're on the hunt for the GI Samurai. The GI Samurai catches Donna this time.
Oh, in the rabbit trap, right? Where it pulls her up. Yeah.
But he's kind of shy and he runs away again.
Yeah, he sees the blue in her eyes, and we're like, what? Why did we zoom in so close to the blue in her eye? And this is where we follow GI Samurai, and he's just running across the island, And he leads us to a lockbox. Man, what's going on with you in this drink?
It goes like that. It pops up.
Stop grabbing it so hard.
Fuck off.
So he goes to the lockbox and he pulls out a picture, and it's a family. It's a white family of 3, and they all have these piercing blue eyes. And so Taryn and Donna have these piercing blue eyes.
It's a Polaroid, too, which is weird because it's supposed to be from, like, World War II.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got a Polaroid back then. But.
And then he sees the sun glistening off some kind of object in the sky, and he looks up, and there it is, a stealth plane landing on his island. So he's like, I got business.
So Martinez and crew in the stealth plane, they land. It's because it's one of those, like, aquatic planes.
You're having so much trouble with this drink. You're spraying it everywhere. You're almost dropping it.
Hey, it's water, though, all right? And so they land on the plane. Donna and Taryn see it too, so they start following. They're like ninjas themselves.
They're going Scooby-Doo on this shit.
They're wearing like bright white wife beaters, yet they're blending in perfectly into the
Nobody
foliage.
ever notices them in the brush, and they're like doing a thing where like they took a machete and hacked off like a little bit of brush, and they're just like walking normally with it in front of their faces.
How good they are, man. They're tapping into the
CIA,
23rd power of the ninja.
Holy shit. No, we're on like 14th, man.
This is how far they're advanced
They're
are.
that far? Jesus Christ.
And so Martinez goes, break out the gold detectors. So they're like, beep, beep. It's like a fucking seismograph or some shit, like or radiation. What's the radiation thing called?
Egenfiger. I forget. Geiger
counter.
Geiger counter. I knew it was something kind of, yeah.
So it's got that staticky kind of sound effect.
We see fucking Ninja, a.k.a. Bruce. We finally learned his name eventually.
Bruce,
like somewhere in this point, we learned his name was Bruce. So Ninja Bruce is on his own, and he pops out, puts out a couple little headphones. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Those are earbuds. That's an iPod.
I thought it was a tricorder from Star Trek. It looked like to me.
The top half did. Bottom half looked like an iPod. But you're right. There was a lot of influence happening here, and there's a lot of influences based on it.
And look, as great a ninjas as Donna and Taryn are, they're sometimes you slip up, and they did, and Andreas catches them, and he ties them up. Because this is like the 3rd time the women have been tied up in this movie.
Yeah, something like that.
And while that's going on, so we're like, oh shit, the bad guys, they got Donna and Taryn. What's going to happen? While that's going on, we finally see Al, Angelica, Budget Ferrigno, and Eric show up in the boat.
Oh, don't forget Budget Arnold.
Budget Arnold, too. And so we're like, okay, everything's coming together.
Yep. All meeting in the crowd. This is what I don't get. I thought there was misinformation happening.
Well, we're misinformed because we don't know what's going on. But Martinez does because his Geiger counter finally goes off. And he's like, this is it. I found it. Well, he doesn't say that because he's being down low because he wants the goal for himself. So while that's going on, the GS Samurai frees Taryn once again.
Yeah, blue in the eyes. He sees him, and he's just like, wah.
And then he instinctively knows, like, I have to follow this Martinez guy. And he follows him, and he sees Martinez. He found the goal. He's digging it up. It's like 6 bars of gold. And they're great acting by these guys because they're just like trying to pick them up.
What gold is supposed to be heavy as fuck?
Yeah, but this isn't really gold, Griff. That's how that's great acting.
Oh, yeah. God, I'm dumb. What was it, like 6 bars still?
Yeah, 6 bars.
Yeah.
And, like, really? People are killing each other? I mean, I'd like to have 6 bars of gold, but I don't know if I'd go to this much trouble for it.
It's not going to save a country.
And while that happens, Angelica shows up with Al, and we're like, wait, I don't think this is where I was totally confused. Because I'm like, wait, okay, so Al's working for Martinez now? I don't,
yeah, I didn't get
but he is. And we're like, oh man, shit, the bad guys are together. They got, like, they've won.
Yeah.
Or did they?
Because then Eric, like, Angelica goes over, embraces Martinez, and they're like,
they're about to fuck again.
They're about to fuck again.
Like, oh my God, gold makes me so horny.
It has been a while since we've seen some tits, so I thought a couple were going to pop out here. But instead, what pops out is Eric with the fucking rifle and just starts shooting Angelica.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, I thought they were working for Angelica and Martinez. No, they're not. And Al pulled a double cross.
And Al fucking takes over from here. He starts explaining everybody's motive. He points out Bruce, and he's like, "You're a bitch," and you, Admiral, you're just trying to take this money and give it off to.
You're actually trying to use it for the proper reasons of the Philippines.
Martinez, he's not trying to help his people at all. He was trying
he is trying, but he's like a commie fuck. And fucking Al, he's all about capitalism, baby, so you don't like that.
Al is just like, I'm a gorilla, bitches.
And he's like, I got my eye on a fucking Xbox. I need this fucking gold, man. And while that's going on, this is where it gets confusing for me. It just gets this movie turns into a real mess at the end. It's just people randomly getting killed. So our boy Lou, Budget Lou, gets a machete. From who?
It was fucking G.I. Samurai.
Okay.
He pops out, and it's like this. It looked more. I
thought it was a samurai sword. It was a machete.
Dude, come on, man. You got to remember at least this part. No, he's got his katana like tucked into his belt. But just when he was gearing up for this conversation, he slips a machete just into his shirt collar, his tattered clothes from the 40s, which have survived, and he still wears.
That's quality. That's like
that army issued uniform. It holds together. So he tucks like a machete. It just looks like a flat, like it looks like a flapjack or whatever they call those fucking.
I don't know. We're going way too far into this.
We are.
Nobody cares.
But he fucking chucks it, and it goes right through Lou.
That makes sense.
Budget
because
Lou.
A samurai would never chuck a samurai katana, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
He would throw that. Yeah. So Lou down, and then everybody like scatters, right?
Yes. Everybody panics the fuck. Because, someone just died.
The crazy-ass samurai just showed up, started throwing knives.
They don't even know. Nobody knows what happens because what ends up happening is, they all scatter. And so we join Donna and Taryn. They're walking around. They fucking bump into the U.S. boys.
Well, and then Donna and Taryn go, thank God Al gave that exposition because now we know you're good guys. And we'll work with you.
No, they're not even sure about that. They're skeptical as fuck. They were absolutely skeptical. See, this is what I don't get. This is why I still think the Admiral was not admirable at all. I think he was up to no good.
It's a good use of
wordplay.
Thank
you. I think Bruce, we'll find out shortly, is the only good one in this equation here, which was quite the twist that I've now ruined. Who the fuck cares?
Nobody cares.
At this point,
everyone's like, when are you guys going to get back to some tits? There are no more tits.
There's no more tits. It.
You got that trifecta earlier, and then they just cut
There's an allusion to a threesome later, but you're not going to get it.
So while they're like working it out and saying, we'll team up, Al shows up again, and he's nice enough. He just throws his gun down and says, let's fucking kung fu this shit, motherfucker. And they just start having like a karate fight.
No, he shows up. Oh, was it? Wait. Oh, man.
I know for a fact he starts fighting them like with hand to hand. When he could have just shot them. So.
Yeah, that's right. Because Donna comes in and saves them.
Donna shows up with her fucking machine gun.
And Elle calls her bluff because she's like, "I'll shoot you right now." And he's like, "There's three of us." That's right, because I think they jumped just
Bruce and
Ninja Bruce.
Yeah,
Admiral was there.
I think he might.
I think Admiral was somewhere else. I'm pretty sure it was just Bruce. So they beat the fuck out of Bruce, and good, because I didn't like Bruce at this point. I thought he's up to no good as well.
Yes.
So I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Well, I also wanted Al to win because I only care about Al. And so Donna shows up. Is like, "Freeze!" And Eric's freaking out.
Right.
And Arnold's still left over. And they're both just like, oh, shit, let's freeze. And Al's like, no, guys, there's three of us. Look. And he just starts walking towards Donna. And he's just like, go ahead. Shoot one of us. We're going to fucking take you out. So, of course, she turns her gun, shoots Budget Arnold. And Eric kicks the gun out of her hand. And this is where, the fight kind of kicks back up a bit.
I thought everybody just ran away again.
Yeah, after the gun gets kicked away, yeah, you're right. It just ran.
And then, while that's going on, Martinez is making a beeline for that gold. He just cares about the gold. Angelica's dead, so all he cares about is the gold. Eric catches on to him, seeing him packing. I love how they made such an effort. Like 2 guys had to pick up 1 bar, and then he's like just tossing him in a knapsack.
Yeah, he's got like a nice leather satchel that he's just gonna throw over his shoulder and walk
and Eric's
away
like,
with.
"Oh, that's my gold, bitch," and he's like, "Think again," and he shoots Eric.
You probably, Eric, shouldn't have shouted out before like getting your gun ready or anything. So yeah, Martinez is like, "I'm ready for you." He just shoots him dead.
And Al, part of his soul died. He felt something of disturbance in the force because he and Eric are soulmates. And
Bruce and Taryn meet at this point. They were like they do the Scooby-Doo thing where they bump into each other like back to back, and then he's just like, "Hey, here's the thing. You're kind of hot." And we've already heard Taryn say like, "I don't know. I think I would fuck that Bruce guy." And she's like, "He might be evil." She's like, "Well, I'd turn that dick good."
And Bruce is like, you like hot tubs?" And she's like, "Those are my favorite things."
God.
And they're like, "We got so much in common."
I don't remember her turn-ons because I was about to be like, "Do you like balconies?"
Well, go listen to the Hard Dig to Hawaii if you want to know what her turn-ons are.
Yes.
And while that goes on, G.I. Samurai ain't having that. So he cock blocks him, and he just pops up right in the middle. And they're like, "Ghost!" And they run away.
Ghost Samurai! So this is where Taryn, she ends up parting into a direction.
Well, everyone just runs everywhere.
Exactly. There's no coordination at all. And so Taryn happens to run and see Martinez. He's heading for the beach.
Right, because he's got a raft there, the raft that they used to get to their big boat out in the the ocean. And she's like, "Good thing I got my crossbow with me with the 3-second delay on that explosion."
Yep.
And he's hiding. So Martina's like behind a tree, and she hits the tree first. And then there's a big explosion, and it stuns Martinez. He's all stumbling, but he's still going into that boat. Wouldn't you know it? There happens to be an open can of gas. It has gas written in huge letters.
Absolutely.
In masking tape.
And
he knocks it over into the raft. And then Taryn, this is another thing I pointed up on Twitter. Props to Taryn, because she's the first person I've ever seen in one of these movies that actually uses the needless scope on the weapon. She actually uses the scope on her crossbow to line it up perfectly, and she hits that fucking
perfect
raft.
breathing techniques and everything. She
exhales when she pulls the trigger.
She actually looked like a CIA / DA.
Yeah, I heard that Andy Sedaris makes them go through like a training camp, like a boot camp, like 6 weeks of this hardcore boot camp shit. So it paid off.
Yeah, that's probably the island they do it on.
And I'm sure everything that happened in these movies happened on Molokai. And he blows up the raft, and the gold goes everywhere. It goes in the water, and that's going to be important later on, guys, when the gold goes into the water. And so what happens?
So now we got more anarchy happening. Apparently, Ale showed up to the beach. I don't even remember this.
Yeah.
But
of course, like Taryn gets taken hostage once again.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll shoot this bitch. I'll shoot her. Don't fuck with me."
But, our G.I. Samurai friend, he's got a thing for this blue-eyed blonde woman. He's like, "I'm going to save her."
All?
So I believe everybody shows up at this point. We got all of our remainers. We got Eric there. We've got fucking
Andreas, Bruce.
Yeah.
Eric's dead.
And Eric is dead.
Donna shows up.
That's right. And so they're all just like putting their weapons down. They're like, okay, you won, Al. What are we gonna do? And then fucking G.I. Samurai just goes berserk, and he fucking runs at Al with that katana out. And finally, you think you're about to see a real fight happen. No, he gets shot like 5 times and stabs Al in the chest with his katana, and they just kind of die together.
Well, he didn't die; he collapses. And then
that's right.
And then Taryn runs to him because she feels this kind of connection to him.
Yeah.
And he explains. We get another flashback. We learn that Polaroid that he was looking at earlier, that was Taryn's grandfather.
We see.
Because we actually should have.
Wait, was it the grandfather?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? That was what they explained in that.
Yes. Because we actually should have pointed out earlier, there is a little bit of exposition and foreshadowing where Taryn talks about her grandfather who was lost on an island.
When did that happen?
That happened, I think when they landed on the island.
That's fucking weird, and I don't give a shit. Andy Sedaris, take notes. I don't fucking care.
Well, our audience cares. Because we get a nice flashback scene where we see her guy in the picture wash up on this island.
Yeah.
Which because the GI Samurai they had the gold. They were on the boat. They got shipwrecked, and they were the ones who buried the gold. And so I guess they were thinking we have to. At the time, he was still like he had lost his ways, Bushido ways. So he was like, I care about this gold. So these round eyes are going to steal the gold. So he immediately murders all the fucking GIs.
There's the 3 Japanese warriors, army folk, and then there's the 3 U.S. army.
Yeah, and they immediately brutally murder them with like samurai swords.
Yep.
And then, after they've been on the island for a while, they go, God, what happened? What happened to us, guys? We lost our way. One of them commits harakiri, as Captain Andreas says.
Yeah.
One of them just walks out in the ocean and drowns himself.
Oh, shit.
And G.I. Samurai was like, no, I can't. I
want to live with it. Yeah.
Well, he's like, yeah, I hope one day I can atone for what I did.
Oh, wow.
And guys, he did because because as we all know, grandparents' eyes look exactly like our eyes. My eyes look exactly like my grandpa. People know. They go, is that your grandfather? I go, no, he's dead. And so he knew, he just knew somehow through the probably powers of the ninja.
Yeah,
that
I would say ninja.
That Terran was related to this guy. And as luck would have it, and Andy Sedaris would have it, that's what happened.
So in his last dying breath, he tells Terran, because she's like, why? I could not kill those eyes again. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Good job, Sedaris. Good job.
So Don and Terran go, hey, there's that boat there without the sea spray on it, without the serial number scratched off. We're going to take that boat.
Yeah.
Because, we're
that was
pilots. The plane. Yeah, I don't know why I said boat, but yes, plane.
They're going to get in that boat and take off. What is this, fucking Final Fantasy?
No, I meant to say plane. But
yeah, I know.
And, you still had to correct me. And so they take off. And that leaves our man Bruce and Captain Andreas.
And we know there was something off about Bruce this whole movie. I kind of thought Andreas was a dickhole, and Bruce was also a dickhole. I didn't know where these two lie. So Bruce finally reveals his hand. He's like, yeah, I'm CIA, motherfucker. And I've been watching you. And that's why I infiltrated. I'm not Matthews, who you thought I was.
Yeah, and he's it was Harrison. And he's like, So, he's like, this is where it got confusing too. It's like there's a submarine coming, and
no, you missed the joke here, because the admiral doesn't know anything about boats. He's like, I have a desk job, because Bruce tells him, hey, the dickie's out on the shore, and he's like, submarines? I don't get in submarines. And he's like, that's not a submarine, you fuck. And he points, and it's a normal boat. He's like, do you know anything about boats? You're an admiral. And he's like, I just have a desk job.
Well, no, because what happened was there was supposed to be a submarine, but CIA guy Bruce sent them wrong coordinates because the submarine was always supposed to pick them up.
Was it?
Yes. So now they have to use that boat.
This movie's so stupid.
And so, I don't know why we even wasted time explaining that because none of you guys care.
Nobody
cares.
All we need
to know.
No, it's an example of the frustration that Sedaris decided to put us through. You showed us the tits. You left out a lot of laughs that you had in the first 2 movies. I don't get that. And you replaced it with this convoluted boat submarine bullshit.
Suffice it to say, we learned that Bruce is CIA. He's a spook.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, bygones be bygones, sure, brother. And they just shake hands.
Yeah. I was like, oh, the admiral's going down for this one. And he's like, no, you're too high up in the government. So you're going to get away with it scot-free. In fact, you're going to get rewards for it.
So, like every Sedaris movie, at least the ones we've covered, ends.
Scooby-Doo
We
ending.
wind up back at Molokai. The whole crew's together, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
It's like the same shot they have at the end of every movie where they're sitting in chairs
the
in a
sun's
circular.
going down.
Sun's going
they got
down.
the Mai Tais.
Got the Mai Tais. Got the chicks with the barely covering.
Every guy's got like a Hawaiian shirt on, like some white pants. The girls have got bikinis on.
Yep.
Every guy's got a girl. We're having a good time.
Yep.
And then they're like, then Bruce comes in with, I noticed 6 bars of gold were missing.
Yep.
And don't worry, guys. He lied about the amount of gold that was in the thing. And and Taryn's like, well, the gold was in the water. That's international waters, so anybody's allowed to have. Because Taryn's the lovable little crook. I don't know how. I don't know. Like, was there a movie we missed beforehand where we learned how Taryn joined? Because we know that she's technically doesn't work for the government. She points that out. So apparently, if you don't work for the government, you can steal.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, well, I got to pay for a new plane because apparently the CIA, DEA, wherever they work for, does not resupply their so it's
and they are undercover for the CIA. So it's like, how can they be undercover without the plane?
so they go, Taryn, and then she goes, and then that's it. And then we get that sweet fucking song, Fight for Survival.
God damn it.
Back to Survival.
We're done with Sedaris, right? This is the last of the Andy Lands.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna preview the next ones first.
I'm sorry, please preview.
We had such a good time with Don and
agree.
Taryn. I felt I owed it to him to finish out the trilogy.
I agree. Regardless, if I knew this movie was as obnoxious as it was, I would have been like, no, let's complete that trilogy.
I want to do Malibu Express, which was the first movie, but I'll look into it first.
Yeah, let's
because that has Cody Abilene in that one.
Where does Hard Ticket fit into all this?
Hard Ticket.
I thought Hard Ticket, Picasso, and this one.
That was the Donna and Taryn.
Oh,
Donna's not in Malibu Express.
Gotcha.
Or Taryn. It's a whole different set of playmates, which I'll have all their turn-offs and turn-ons. Don't worry, guys.
If we do it.
If we do, well, we probably will because it looks. Well, I don't know. Then again, this looked pretty good in the trailer. Yeah. So, Griff, we're gonna do something better next time.
I fucking hope so. I mean, it's a low bar right now. So
yeah. So
nowhere to go.
Wait. Did you hear that? Do you hear that?
I don't hear anything. Right.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Hold on. Let me put my ear to the ground. What the fuck is that?
What? Yeah, it's I don't know. It's very wet sounding.
Is it in my bath? That's not coming from my bathroom, right?
No, I don't think so.
What the fuck could that be?
Oh, I know what that sound is. That wet, sloppy, slappy sound of a Sloan.
What? A Sloan?
Sloan brother. You know when you hear that noise, a Sloan brother is about to kick some ass. And you know when a Sloan brother is about to kick some ass, he's about to kickbox some ass.
Shit.
That's right, people. It's been a long time, but we're doing part 2. Kickboxer part 2 next week. We're back.
Fuck.
And if you loved fucking Van Damme, sorry, he ain't in it.
He's in it for the first minute.
They basically
and they write him off.
Shit all over the first movie. They're like, we can do it better with, I think his name is Sasha Mitchell.
Yeah, I think that's it, actually.
But we do have some Tong Po. He shows up.
Tong Po is the villain in what, 3? I think he's in.
I think he's in all of them, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think I've seen all of them.
He gets horribly defeated in each movie, but yet he is the ultimate opponent in each movie.
And yet still they can't hire a real Asian actor.
They can't.
It's got to be a guy in Asian drag.
Oh,
so, guys, we've seen this one, so we know it's got some good shit.
Oh, it's fun as hell.
So we'll do that next week and keep it warm.